Welcome to Daily English Stories. Every story hides a world. Some inspire, some haunt, some stay forever.
Chapter 1. Trusting the Wrong Person. I walked into the office like I did every morning, quietly, on time, and ready to work. My name is Sophia. I am 37 years old. For 5 years, I worked at a marketing company. I wasn't the loud one. I wasn't the popular one. I didn't gossip or join long coffee breaks. I just worked. I came early. I finished my projects carefully. I double-checked my work. I stayed late when I needed to. I didn't complain. I didn't ask for attention. All I wanted was respect. Some people said I was pretty, but that never mattered to me. I dressed professionally. I kept my desk neat. I wanted to be known for my work, not my appearance. My boss was a man named David. David was 45 years old and the head of our department. He was serious and distant. He rarely smiled. He walked around the office quietly, checking people's work without saying much. For the first 4 years, David barely spoke to me. He would look at my reports, nod once, and sometimes say, "Good work." That was all. And that was enough for me. I didn't need praise. I just needed my job. Then, about 6 months ago, something changed. David started coming to my desk more often. At first, it was once a week. He would stand beside my desk and ask about a project. "How is the Johnson project going?" "It's going well, sir," I would reply. He would nod and walk away. Then it became more frequent. Every few days, then almost every day. He stayed longer. He asked more questions. He started complimenting my work. "You're very thorough, Sophia. I can always count on you." I felt proud when he said those things. I worked hard and it felt good to be noticed. My co-workers noticed too. One day my colleague Maria leaned over and whispered, "David really likes you. He never talks to us that much." I laughed it off. "He's just checking my work," I said. But Maria smiled like she didn't believe me. I tried not to think too much about it. He was my boss. That was all. Then one Monday morning, I received an email from David. "Please come to my office at 3 p.m. I want to discuss something important." My heart started beating faster. Had I made a mistake? Was there a problem with my work? All day, I felt nervous. At exactly 3 p.m., I knocked on his door. "Come in, Sophia," he said. I sat down in front of his desk. He looked serious, as usual. Then suddenly he smiled. It was the first time I had seen him smile like that. "Sophia," he said, "I've been reviewing your performance over the past 5 years. You work very hard. I think you deserve more recognition." I felt relief. "Thank you, sir," I said. "I'm going to recommend you for a salary raise," he continued. "You deserve more for your effort." I couldn't believe it. A raise would change everything for me. I could finally save money, maybe move to a better apartment, maybe feel secure. "Thank you so much, Mr. David," I said. "I really appreciate it." He nodded, then leaned back in his chair. "There's a lot more to discuss," he said. "Your future at the company, new responsibilities, new opportunities." Then he said something unexpected. "It's too much to talk about here. Would you join me for dinner tomorrow evening? We can discuss everything properly." Dinner? That felt strange. But he was my boss. He was offering me a raise. Maybe this was normal for senior employees. "Okay," I said carefully. "That would be fine." He smiled again. "I'll pick you up at 7 p.m. Send me your address." That night, I barely slept. The next evening, I got ready. I wore a simple but nice dress. I told myself again and again that this was professional, just business. David arrived in an expensive car. He wore a suit and smelled strongly of cologne. "You look beautiful tonight, Sophia," he said. "Thank you," I replied, uncomfortable. We drove to a restaurant by the sea. It was elegant and quiet. Candles on the tables, soft music, a beautiful sunset. This didn't feel like a business dinner. David ordered wine and expensive food. At first, we talked about work. He mentioned future projects and my possible new role. Then his tone changed. "I've been watching you for a long time," he said. "You're different from the others. Intelligent, dedicated, graceful." I felt uneasy. "Thank you, sir," I said quietly. He reached across the table and held my hand. I froze. "This isn't professional," I thought. "Please call me David," he said softly. I pulled my hand back. "Mr. David," I said, "maybe we should focus on work." He sighed. "My wife left me 2 years ago," he said. "I've been very lonely. When I see you at work, you make me feel something again." I didn't know what to say. He had power over my job, my salary, my future. "I think there's something special between us," he said. "Don't you feel it?" My heart was racing. "This is wrong," I told myself. But I was scared and confused. "I think we should keep things professional," I said finally. He smiled slightly. "Of course. I understand." When dinner ended, he drove me home. Outside my apartment, he said, "Would you like to come up for coffee? I have documents about your new position." I should have said no, but I didn't. That was the moment everything began to fall apart. Chapter 2: Betrayal and Blame. I woke up the next morning in David's bed, and my first feeling was fear. The room was quiet. Sunlight came through the window. For a moment, I didn't remember where I was. Then everything rushed back into my mind. Dinner, the wine, his apartment, the night. My stomach felt tight. I sat up slowly and looked around. This wasn't my home. This wasn't my life. I felt ashamed and confused. I asked myself the same question again and again. What have I done? David woke up a few minutes later. He smiled when he saw me. "Good morning, beautiful," he said. I didn't smile back. "I need to go home," I said quietly. He reached for my hand. "Don't worry, Sophia," he said. "I'll take care of you. Your raise will happen. I'll make sure you're treated well at work." His words sounded comforting, but something inside me felt wrong. I got dressed quickly and took a taxi home. As I sat in the back seat, I felt sick. Guilt, fear, regret, all mixed together. On Monday morning, I went to the office like nothing had happened, but everything felt different. I didn't know how to act. Should I smile at David? Should I ignore him? Should I pretend it never happened? I didn't get the chance to decide. David walked past my desk and didn't even look at me. Not a nod, not a word, nothing. It was like I didn't exist. At first, I thought he was just being careful. Maybe he didn't want anyone to suspect anything. I told myself it was normal. But days passed, and nothing changed. He stopped coming to my desk. He stopped emailing me. When we passed each other in the hallway, he looked away. The promised raise never came. After 2 weeks, I couldn't stay silent anymore. My hands were shaking as I typed an email. "Hi, Mr. David. I wanted to follow up on the salary raise we discussed. When can I expect to hear more about it?" He replied hours later. "Be patient. These things take time. There are procedures to follow." I tried to believe him. But another week passed, then another. Nothing happened. I saw him laughing with other employees, talking easily, smiling. But when he saw me, his face became cold and distant. I felt sick every day. What had I done wrong? After 1 month, I finally gathered my courage. I waited until the office was almost empty and knocked on his door. "Come in," he said. I closed the door behind me. "Mr. David," I said, "we need to talk. You promised me a raise. You said you would take care of me, but now you're ignoring me." He looked at me like a stranger. "Sophia," he said coldly, "you must not mix personal matters with work. That is very unprofessional." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You invited me to dinner," I said. "You made promises. You told me you had feelings for me." He leaned back in his chair. "I think you misunderstood the situation," he said calmly. "The dinner was about your performance review. What happened afterward was your choice. I didn't force you." It felt like someone punched me in the stomach. He was rewriting everything. "You manipulated me," I said, my voice shaking. He stood up. "I suggest you leave my office," he said, "and be careful with accusations. They could affect your position here." I walked out and went straight to the bathroom. I locked myself in a stall and cried silently. He used me, and now he was throwing me away. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept thinking about what to do. Should I quit? Should I stay silent? Would anyone believe me? The next day, I made a decision. I went to human resources. I told them everything. The dinner, the promises, the pressure, the manipulation. The HR manager listened carefully and took notes. "We take these matters very seriously," she said. "We will investigate." 2 weeks later, David was called into a meeting. They found his emails. They found proof. They discovered he had done similar things to other women. David was fired. I thought I would feel relief. I didn't. Instead, everything got worse. People at the office found out. They didn't ask me what happened. They didn't ask how I felt. They blamed me. Maria stopped talking to me. Colleagues whispered when I walked by. Someone wrote "homewrecker" on my desk. Another note said, "You destroyed a man's career." I felt dirty, ashamed, alone. 3 weeks later, I was called into a meeting with the company director. "We appreciate you coming forward," he said. "However, to protect the company's image, we believe it would be best if you found employment elsewhere." They offered me 2 months of severance pay. They weren't firing me, they said, but they were. I packed my desk that same day. No one said goodbye. I walked out of the building feeling empty. I had lost my job, my reputation, my dignity, all because I trusted the wrong person. Chapter 3. Losing everything, finding herself. When I lost my job, I lost more than my income. I lost my routine. I lost my confidence. I lost my sense of safety. The first morning after leaving the company, I woke up early out of habit. Then I remembered I had nowhere to go. No desk, no emails, no deadlines. I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. For the first time in years, I felt completely useless. I blamed myself every day. Why did I trust him? Why didn't I say no? Why didn't I leave earlier? These questions lived in my head. They followed me everywhere. My savings were small. Rent was due. Bills didn't wait for broken hearts. I started calculating everything and food, electricity, transport. I stopped buying coffee. I skipped meals sometimes. At night, fear kept me awake. What if I never find another job? What if people believe the rumors? What if my career is over? I sent out resumes every day. Most companies never replied. Some rejected me politely. A few called me for interviews, then disappeared after checking my work history. I knew why. The story had followed me. People talked, people judged, people decided who I was without asking me. Some days I didn't leave my apartment at all. I stopped answering calls. I avoided mirrors. I felt small and ashamed. But deep inside, a quiet voice kept speaking. You survived. You're still here. You're not weak. One afternoon, I saw a job posting from a small marketing firm. The company was run by a woman named Clara. There were only 10 employees. No fancy building, no big promises, just honest work. I almost didn't apply. I was tired of rejection, tired of hope. But something told me to try one more time. The interview was simple. Clara sat across from me with a warm smile. She didn't rush. She didn't interrupt. She asked about my skills, not my past. At the end, she looked at me and said, I believe in second chances. I cried in the bathroom after the interview. A week later, she called me. We would like to offer you the position, she said. I sat on the floor and cried again, this time from relief. Working there felt different. No fear, no power games, no manipulation. Clara respected boundaries. She valued honesty. She treated everyone equally. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe at work. Slowly, my confidence returned. I started speaking up in meetings. I trusted my ideas. I remembered who I was before everything broke. One day, Clara invited me for coffee. She looked at me kindly and said, I know what happened at your previous job. It doesn't define you. That was the moment I stopped blaming myself. I understood something important. What happened was not my fault. I had been manipulated. I had been pressured. I had been silenced. And I refused to be silent anymore. I started telling my story, not to everyone, but to the right people. Women who needed to hear they weren't alone. Women who thought their pain was their fault. I learned to trust my instincts again. When something felt wrong, I listened. When a boundary was crossed, I spoke. When fear tried to control me, I pushed back. I didn't become fearless. I became brave. I still carry scars. Some nights, memories return. Some days, doubt whispers in my ear. But I stand taller now. I lost my job. I lost my reputation. I lost everything I thought protected me. But I found something stronger. My voice, my worth, my self-respect. I am no longer silent. This is my story. And I survived.